Welcome to the Rockstar Principles Podcast, coming straight to you from Rock and Roll, USA, covering the latest and greatest in educational leadership trends, news, and awesomeness for principals all over the world. Now, here are your hosts, the boss, John Ross, and the Doctor of Proctors, Nick Indeglio.
Friends, my congregation, to another installment of the Rockstar Principles Podcast, Church of Whitaker. Yes, as we work our way through the 18 things that great principals do differently by the great Dr. Todd Whitaker, we have worked our way up to number 6. I'm going to turn it over to Brother Nicholas, who's going to share number 6 with you. Brother Nicholas.
I am genuflecting on my knees, which are rubbing on sandpaper and broken glass, as I study number 6, which is to deliberately apply a range of strategies to improve teacher performance.
Oh.
We don't have to look far, Brother John, because in one of Dr. Whitaker's other amazing books, 10-Minute In-Services That Will Change the World. That's not the actual title, but it's pretty close.
It's close.
The idea here is teach the teachers. Help the teachers teach themselves. You as a leader teach them. It's basically professional development in-house, and the idea also is for it to be effective, meaningful. What is going to help increase student achievement? What's going to make a difference in your building? What is staff going to buy into? Brother John.
Yes, that book you were referring to is just simply called The 10-Minute In-Service by Dr. Todd Whitaker, along with Annette Brew. Annette, very lucky to get to work with Dr. Whitaker on that. But this, the thing that I think of immediately when we talk about number 6, applying these different strategies, is recently, you might remember, Nick, we did a lot of in-service on differentiated instruction and trying to get teachers to understand the components of differentiated instruction. And it's very, very important, and I'm not making light of that by any stretch of the imagination, but one of the ideas that was presented to us was to do an in-service on differentiated instruction for our staff while reading from a script. Just let that sink in for a minute. Doing an in-service on differentiated instruction while reading from a script. Scripted differentiated instruction, professional development.
So we're supposed to be teaching staff about content, process, and product while reading from a written script.
And they would all get the same professional development. It's really struck a chord with me because there are, differentiated instruction was a new topic. This was 2-3 years ago that we did this. And it was kind of a newer topic for some folks, but some of our folks had already on their own been through professional development that related to that. So you have to, really practice what you preach and determine, no matter what the topic is, determine the level of need of different staff members.
Yeah, know your audience.
And use that to decide how you're going to present things. And if there's people that need a more, in-depth study of it rather than just the general broad presentation, then you have to provide that for them. Otherwise, you're wasting their time and not really helping them develop as educators.
You got the whole notion of differentiated instruction, deliberately applying a range of strategies. The philosophy of that's great. One of the things, and it's not meant to be critical, but we spent so much time on, hey, this is what differentiated instruction is, where we could have spent more time just picking what Carol Ann Tomlinson calls your lower level, your lower tiered strategies, which are just quick to implement. One that comes to mind right away is cubing. And essentially, you take, you create a paper cube, or you take a die that has the sides clear, and you can add, yourself. Lots of computer programs where you can do this, and it can do a multitude of things. One such thing is students do an activity with different levels of questioning from Bloom's taxonomy on a particular topic. You roll the die, and you go through an activity there. Just little things where you can apply different types of DI there. But again, going back to the crux of this, a range of strategies to improve teacher performance. Who knows their building better than the principals, I would hope. So you need the autonomy to do what's necessary in your buildings in order to best improve, once again, student achievement. And I think to a large degree that's what Dr. Whitaker is trying to get at here.
And we're very fortunate, again, in our district, we have a director of professional development Ms. Jennifer Saxa, who is an outstanding leader when it comes to this, and she really does a great job of giving she's in charge of it for the entire district, and we're a very large district. And she gives the building leaders and the department leaders, she gives them all of the information. We're doing stuff on formative assessments now. Here's everything I can give you about formative assessment. Here's a couple of ideas, a couple of different ways. And then she says, just like you were just saying, Nick, your building, you know how you want to do it, you know what you want to do, go at it, take off from there. So it's really great to have a feeling like that, and hopefully, a lot of our Rockstar principal colleagues out there can identify with that and see how that really improves your job as an instructional leader.
One that I noticed really interestingly, a couple weeks ago, we were sitting in a team meeting and just talking about kids and talking about what was going on and data, and really good meeting. And as part of the conversation, one of the teachers brought up one of Doug Lamoe's strategies, cold calling. And what was really impressive to me and really stuck in my mind is that 2 years ago, we would do one strategy per faculty meeting from Lamoe's book, Teach Like a Champion. We started with cold calling. So our launch was using cold calling. And of course, when you launch something, it's always your best and you spent the most time planning it, and it was your, it's really the coup de grace. It's your best one. I mean, let's be real.
Right.
Time usually dilutes a little bit of everything. But here we are 2 years later, and we have teachers using the term and using it properly. And it just struck me as, wow, I guess it really does make a difference when we put an emphasis on things that actually do work.
So I think that covers number 6 for us, once again, as we work our way up to number 18, in the hopes that when we get the opportunity, we will actually get Dr. Todd Whitaker on the Rockstar Principles podcast. But for now, we will close the Book of Whitaker, and thank you for joining us in the Church of Whitaker. And we will be right back with the Rockstar Principles podcast.
We love you, Todd.
And now a word from our fake sponsors. But we'd really love if they were our real sponsors. Seriously, we would love it.
Jeez, John, my depression continues.
What's the matter, Nick?
I feel like no one honors us, the principals. I feel like no one appreciates everything we do. I feel like we're just a bunch of middle managers. I sure wish there was an organization out there that really cared about us.
Well, first of all, stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Okay.
Right? Suck it up. But secondly, Nick, there is a group. There is just a group. And I know you're aware of it because I know you're a member of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, aren't you?
I am.
Yes. The NAESP, an outstanding organization looking out for the needs of educators all over America with specific focus on principals. Let me try to bring this back that I forgot what I was going to say. One thing that they're doing this month in particular, I meant to say, is they treat October as National Principals Month.
They do?
Did you know that?
I had no clue whatsoever that anyone cared about us. What do they do?
Well, in fact, they've tried to get national attention on it. They have the United States House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate have both drafted resolutions to support National Principals Month. That is, when they were working before the government shutdown, they did that.
So they had time to draft resolutions for that, but they can't settle this whole issue of running the government.
You're not helping the commercial here.
Oh,
Nick.
sorry.
Come on, let's bring it home. No, the NAESP does an awful lot for principals, an awful lot to support us, legal rights, advice. Their publications, outstanding. They're doing some things with social media to honor principals. If you check out their Facebook page, they've got a whole thing going right now where people can post pictures or drawings that kids have done about their principals and what they do, just the reasons why their principals are so great. It's just something that means a lot to get to see what other principals across the country are getting recognized for. Connecting with other leaders, especially this is also Connected Educators Month. So connecting with other tech-minded leaders like we are, as we are on Twitter and we are using podcasts, as you all know.
And we're following at NAESP.
Yes, we are. And they are following us as well. So
that's big.
Shameless plug, but this is to thank them. Another thing they do is something I'm not sure if you've heard of or not, but there's a thing called the National Distinguished Principals Program. You ever hear of that?
I think I know a couple people now. In fact, I might work with 2 people who have won that award.
Yes, state, national, NAESP, state organizations, I am having such a hard time with words tonight, can nominate and actually select National Distinguished Principals. So there's one from every state in the country. In 2009, yours truly was fortunate enough to be selected. Yes, thank you. That was nice. I wish I had that when I got my selection.
If only I had known you then.
Yeah, right. I was very, very lucky and blessed to be a National Distinguished Principal in 2009, to get to go to Washington, D.C., and be around educators from all over America. Obviously something I'll never forget. And NAESP, just one of the many things that they do to recognize principals all over America. So it's an outstanding organization, and something I hope that all of our listeners take part in, are involved in. If you're a high school principal and you want to get involved, there is NASSP, the National Association of Secondary School Principals. We're lucky in Pennsylvania, they've combined their forces. We have PAESSP, the Pennsylvania Association of Elementary and Secondary School Principals. But very, very important to get involved in things like that when you're a leader, mainly because you are middle management, you are on the island, you are alone quite frequently having to make these decisions. And when you have a professional organization such as these that can really help you and guide you through your leadership, it's worth its weight in gold. So be sure to check them out.
At PAESSP, in less than 2 weeks, the state conference with a keynote by Dr. Todd Whitaker.
You got it, bro.
And closing remarks by Charlotte Danielson. I wanted to make sure.
You were pointing at me. I didn't know if you wanted me to say it or if you were going to say it.
Because I was afraid I confuse her again with
Caroline Tomlinson. Yeah, who is not going to be there this year, but has been in there in the past. So, all right, so check them out. Welcome back to the Rockstar Principals Podcast. John and Nick here with you. Going to turn it over to Nick for our segment here on, what are we going to be talking about here, Dr. Nick?
Well, this week we found a really cool article on HuffPost Education, one of the many Twitter feeds we follow.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. HuffPost does a lot of cool stuff, but this article basically called 10 Things to Give Up in Exchange for Happiness. Kind of struck a chord with me, so I thought we could dedicate a quick segment on it.
Do tell. I have yet to read this article.
Well, let me just kind of run through. We can talk about some of the specific ones in a moment, but let's give the people what those 10 things actually are. So we'll do a little bit of reading here. First, and this might be my favorite of the bunch, and if we talk about only one of them, of the 10, maybe this is the one we'll focus on.
We could do an hour just on this one.
Yeah. Give up caring what other people think of you. Number 2, give up trying to please everyone. Number 3, this is a tough one. Give up participating in gossip. Number 4, quit worrying. I'd like to know how to do that. Number 5, let go of insecurity. Number 6, stop taking everything personally. Number 7, give up the past. Number 8, give up spending money on what you don't need in an effort to buy happiness. Number 9, give up anger. Number 10, give up control.
Wow. Wow, that's deep. Can I jump right into one there?
Go ahead.
That's my favorite. I know you want to talk about number 1, but I'm particularly fond of number 2.
All right.
Give up trying to please everyone. This was my favorite for multiple reasons. I believe it was General Colin Powell in one of his leadership books where he talked about trying to please everyone is a sign of mediocrity. Just think about that for a minute. Because the first time I heard that, it was like, the skies parted. It was almost a Whitakerian moment, I would have to say. When if you're trying to make everyone happy, you're not going to do it. You're wasting your time. You're not on any topic. And you'll find even the most, that would seem like the biggest slam dunk topic, that you would try to cover, there's going to be people that are going to find some kind of fault with it. So, you have to, at times, lead with your gut, lead with your brain, and make a decision and stand by that decision and recognize that there's just going to be some people that don't buy in. And I think what Colin Powell means when he says that it leads to mediocrity is that when you're trying to please everyone, you're not focusing on your best people, as again Todd Whitaker say, what do your best people think? You're not focusing on them. So the people that are working their backsides off and they see that you're playing to the middle, they stop working so hard because they say, why am I working so hard if all I have to do is be average and get what I want? Or they actually begin to resent you as a leader because they see that you're giving your attention to the middle of the pack. So, trust your instincts. Make your decisions. Stand by your decisions. They're not always going to be right. But just stop trying to make everyone happy. I can't tell you how many times I've said that to other educational leaders because I really feel it's great advice.
It's funny. Just a few minutes ago, we took a break from the podcast and we drove and picked up your daughter from yet another soiree.
Once again, she's got quite the social life.
Yeah, living the dream. But
it is Saturday night.
One of the things I was reflecting on was back in those days, back when we were in high school and then we were in college, they were days of less insecurity where things seemed more black and white and you had more self-confidence and more belief. Now, there's a lot of reasons why that type of being invulnerable isn't necessarily a good thing, but it brings me back to some of my college days. And when I was the Nittany Lion mascot at Penn State...
Wait. Right, let's cover that again. Have we talked about that before?
We've mentioned it.
Are people aware that you were the actual Nittany Lion mascot at Pennsylvania State University?
There's only one. There's only one at a time.
That's amazing.
But each week, whether it was a basketball game, maybe volleyball, definitely football, I had to perform skits. So you had to come up with some creative ideas, put music to it, costuming, and the whole bit there. But I look back on that now, and here I am, 37 years old, and I would be racking my brain wondering now what people thought. Are people going to like this?
Right.
Whereas back then, man, I just put it together. I did it.
Yep.
And 107,000 people at Beaver Stadium be damned if they don't like it. It never even crossed my mind. And maybe it's just life. Maybe life just kind of beats you down that way a little bit and makes you more self-aware.
One of my mentors once said to me, "You don't know how much you know. You don't realize how much knowledge you have, especially that others would love to hear and have you share with them." So there's a reason why, again, just talk to our Rockstar principals right now. There's a reason why you got that job. You interviewed for it. You were selected. Somebody in some position of authority put you in that position. So trust that. Go with that. Don't spend all this time thinking that that you got that job and now you have to, make everybody happy all of the time. It's not going to happen, and it's not always going to turn out the way you want to turn it out. And in those cases, you just got to accept it and move on. But let's jump back. You want to jump back to number one, the one that you like so much?
Yeah, before you do that, though, just because we're working on tangents that make a lot of sense here tonight.
Yeah.
Doug Robertson, who sent us a copy of his book, He's the Weird Teacher, which we've been reading. In his chapter on what he wants from an administrator, he actually mentions the very thing you just said, and it's that our teachers want leaders to lead. And he says, just by nature of your position, that garners a certain amount of respect. And that's because someone in a leadership position above you chose you for this. You did something to earn that position, which grants you the authority to do the things you need to do in that role. And it's a neat connection that Doug made, and you just reinforced that, I think.
Wow, and that wasn't even on purpose.
Not even on purpose there.
We're hoping to have Doug as a guest at some point on the Rockstar Principles podcast.
Yeah, we're going to, in fact, I would say we should be done his book by next week at the latest, and then we can figure out a way to get our time zones matched up, because I think he's in Hawaii, possibly, unless he's moved, but either way.
We'll work on that.
Maybe he'll fly us out.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, on his teacher salary. Anyway, back to
number one.
Number one.
Give up caring what other people think of you. Very similar to number two, I think, because if you're able to do that, then you can stop trying to make everybody happy. But what is it about number one that appeals to you? Because
this year in particular, I've kept a quote sitting in my inbox all year, and the quote is very simply, "It's none of your business what other people think of you."
Wow.
which plays directly into one of my favorite philosophers. I should call him a philosopher, and I'm sure he would appreciate that. He's more New Age, and he's very contemporary. I don't know that he would like to be likened to a dead poet of any kind, but Wayne Dyer, who said, be independent of the good opinion of others, which essentially means the same exact thing of, it's none of your business what other people think of you. And that type of behavior will kill you. And it's funny, this year is 10 years into the administrative life for me, and it's still something I struggle with and have to focus consciously on to keep at the forefront to not do.
Well, let's be real. I agree with number one wholeheartedly. I agree. And it's probably the most difficult because as humans, we want others to like us. We care what other people's opinions are in general. People that are important to us, not just general run-of-the-mill people, but people that are important to us. Their opinions matter. Our family members, our friends. And I use the term all the time as a principal. I look at my staff as our family. I look at my student body as our family, my parents as our family. So it is difficult to be your own person and realize that no matter what you do, again, there's going to be people that just have a negative opinion of you. And the haters are going to hate, Dr. Nick. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to please them. So, again, be yourself. Don't make decisions and think about what the haters are going to say. Think about what your champions are going to say, what your rock stars on your staff are going to think. And, if you do that, I think that'll go a long way with your people.
Greatest politicians of all time, greatest presidents of all time. About 52% is probably the best
yeah, that's right.
approval rating you're ever going to get there.
That's right.
Well, before we close this segment out, let's give props to the author, Tamara Starr. She's a coach, healer, speaker, writer, and businesswoman, and you can connect with her on her website, Facebook, or Twitter. So you can link to this directly on elephantjournal.com or follow her at www.twitter.com/dailytransform.
We'll have to check her out, hit her up on Twitter, let her know that we mentioned her in the Rockstar Principles podcast. Hey, if you're not happy as the leader, you're not going to have a happy building. You're not going to have a happy experience. You're not going to last long. You're going to run yourself down. So these are great tips, great things to keep in mind in order to keep yourself happy. And a happy principal means a happy school.
Happy wife, happy life.
Wow. That's deep. Yeah, we probably could have just done the whole segment just by saying that.
Sums it up pretty well. All right, let's close this one out.
All right, rock it out, everybody.
Thanks for helping RSP top the charts in the Edu podcast world. Keep it real with Twisted Steel and School of Heal.